AI shit, people need to be more creative and imaginative. So,
should I do a Hawk 2 hat or my cowboy hat? I don't know which one's better.
all right, welcome all you Chad nerds out there in the audience. I want to say thank you to Sam Tripoli. That's the Sam Tripoli laugh, because he set me up, not on a date, but he set me up with Kurt Metzger, who is a super intelligent, great, not just a comedy writer. I mean, he's known for, of course, frequenting Joe Rogan. He's known for Kill Tony. He's known for Jimmy Dore. He's known for decades of stand-up. You can go check out his specials. I've got them linked in the show description, but also for being a very talented writer, and also for going deep down the rabbit hole. And so I want to thank Tripoli for that, and I want to thank Kurt for coming on. It's great to finally have a conversation with you. Welcome to Jay's Analysis, Kurt.
Yeah, thanks. I wish the green screen I don't like, but it's just green screen. It does feel like the magic is gone now. Well, talking to me, if there was any.
Well, Kurt was going to use fancy CGI techniques behind him, and we decided that it's now incumbent upon the audience to use their actual creativity. So stop relying on computers.
Unshrink your taint. Listen, Zoomers, stop eating petroleum. Grow your taint out a little bit. Talk to some girls and imagine a background here, like we used to be able before Fantasia was a thing.
Yeah, it's like it's like the holodeck. We're gonna put Kurt in various settings. He can talk to LeVar Burton. He can talk to whoever. Whatever's in your mind.
Imagine I'm talking to LeVar Burton. It incorporates some Reading Rainbow elements as well. That's what I like.
The holodeck, right? The holodeck, Star Trek, the holodeck.
Yeah, I like the only one guy had a problem with holodeck gooning. Remember on that show there was
everybody who watched that would be interested in gooning in the holodeck, and then it's like, yeah, exactly. Like, wasn't it like Data, or who spent too much time pumping in the holodeck?
It wasn't Data. It wasn't. It was.
It wasn't Riker, because Riker gets laid throughout the whole series.
No, it wasn't Riker. He was pounding out MILF after MILF.
He was over there even banging Whoopi Goldberg.
Dude, he even threw it in Whoopi Goldberg. And she's not even... Dude, I didn't know Whoopi Goldberg wasn't Jewish until like a year ago.
Oh, I thought she was too. That's crazy.
I thought she converted. Like I
exactly.
Sammy Davis Jr. did. But I don't know when he did that. He was like a Satanist. But anyway, her story is...
She's a Satanist, exactly.
What was that? There's a movie Eddie or something where she dresses up like a white businessman so she can trade stocks, and they put her in a white man disguise. And,
wow.
It closely mirrors the advice her grandma gave her. She goes, honey, get one of them Jew people names and you'll go far. I swear to God, that's the story.
Wow.
And her grandmother was right.
So for Jewish people, you change your name to a WASP name, but for black people, you change your name to a Jewish name. It's all.
Or if you're a Zionist, you change it back to something way that's not as Polish. So like Bilbo, not a Jew, who changed his name to that from, I don't know, Milkowski or some shit.
Yeah, right.
He's got like 3 names, that piece of shit.
Kurt, you're getting a lot of love in the audience. My audience.
Thanks. Hawk 2 of the moon,
love you.
Everybody. Now's the time to get in.
Hawk 2 a coin?
Yeah.
Bro, that's what I've been saying. I'm going to sell all my Bitcoin, buy the Hawk 2 while it's at the dip, and then we're going to buy out Michael Saylor.
I'll go coin for coin with you if you want. What do you say? Honest trade, coin for coin.
Well, speaking of coins, I wrote a coin joke for the Sam Hyde show last night because we're covering Epstein. There's going to be an emergency Sam Hyde show. It's Dear Epstein. I'm serious. What are you laughing at?
I'm already laughing. It's an emergency Sam Hyde show for Epstein. I was texting him all this shit too. I keep sending him sketch. What is the Sam Hyde show? I don't even know.
Okay, so basically a few months ago, Sam reached out and said, let's start a show separate from $1 Million Extreme and whatnot. It's going to be the Sam Hyde show. So we wrote the first episode, Dear Elon. It blew up, got like 20 million views. Next episode.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I've been writing on all those.
I thought you were going to show up with your friends and gang up on what's his name from Half Baked and rape him.
Oh, Harlan?
I don't know what the story is of that. I'm just like, I understand Sam and his friends raped him. That's all I heard. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
It was an odd situation. There was a lot of discussion over gorilla nests, Catholic priests.
He tried to out weird Harlan, didn't he? That's why it happened.
It looks like that's what was going on. It was pretty wild, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is, dude. Because look, Harlan's as big a weirdo as Sam is. I don't know, but I have to watch it to really pick it apart.
I had fun. I watched it twice. I thought it was like classic sort of two oddballs going head to head. It didn't seem to be, a real thing, but everybody took it as real. So I don't know what to say.
I mean, I bet it's going to be hard to find out if it's real or not from either Harlan or Sam.
Exactly.
It'd be very difficult.
No.
I don't like that Sam had the Filipino kid stand behind Harlan. That seems aggressive to me. Don't ever have a Filipino stand behind me while we're having an interview. That's in my rider. I love Filipinos right in front of me, not behind me while I'm trying to do an interview.
My first crush was a Filipino girl in San Diego in the fourth grade. So yeah.
Sounds like a Billy Joel song.
So we did the Dear Elon, we did Dear Vivek. We've done Boomers. We've done a sports episode, which hasn't come out yet. But Sam wanted to do emergency Epstein episodes.
Strange, but if Stephen Hawking was there having sex, he was raped, everyone. What are you talking? The guy could move his eye this much. But he wasn't down there doing that. He was in a submarine looking at them pyramid ruins that are off the coast.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he's doing. Terramar and all that nonsense that called herself Janet Atlantis and said she's
Jizlane's Save the Oceans thing.
Excuse me, Jay, it's Ghislaine. Sorry.
Is it really?
Sorry to correct you, but it's actually Ghislaine. Unless as part of her sentence she has to be called Jizlane, which I'm for that.
I was going to say, I mean, there's some jokes I think maybe in there with I don't know, but yeah, so Kurt's going to be one of these guys that corrects us on. Is it Kiev or is it Kiev?
It's Kev. I say Kev.
Kev, okay. That just sounds like your buddy, Kev. Now,
no, because Ukraine's such a good friend. Hey, Kev. Putin attacked Kev?
Not Kevin. I play Nintendo with Kevin.
Kev, go ahead and take my money and pay for Kev.
Yeah, this is going machine gun. I'm losing my mind. So hold on, let's rewind. So we're talking about Jeffstein McEffrey. We're talking about emergency Sam Hyde episode that we're gonna do. Oh, and then so I've been writing on that show for him, and that's been a lot of fun. And then we're trying to figure out like what's the best course with this Epstein episode, and it fit in well with my conversation with you.
Oh yeah,
because you and I were talking about Epstein, and then I had to read all this Epstein stuff last night. So,
you read the letter?
I did read it. Well, you were telling me about it. I went and read it. You talking about what came out in the Wall Street Journal, and Trump said the greatest lie of all time, probably the best lie, gonna lie better than anybody else.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. That's a pretty decent Trump. Well, Duncan Trussell sent it to me, the letter, and he's like, "What is this, dude?" And I'm looking at it. First of all, I don't think it is fake, but maybe it is. I don't know. I think it's not, but it's like a big nut. Like you're not learning anything from it unless you're like reading between the lines really hard, so I don't think it's a fake letter. It's just because there's nothing there. I mean, it's like, oh, I wonder if, there's a 13-year-old that accused him of doing stuff to her with Epstein. There's actually like a real charge if you want to get like, into a real charge about it. But it looked to me like the two of them sparring over technology because, for a fact, Epstein got all the physicists down there, right? Including Stephen Hawking, as you mentioned. And yes. We know for a fact Trump's uncle got all the Tesla crap. And, Roy Cohn was his mentor. And so those are two factions of the same asshole, they're two ass cheeks. And so Trump is, my girl pointed this out to me. I didn't even think of this, but I assume they're talking about they know little secret things about tech and what have you. But she goes, is Enigma? Because Trump goes, Enigmas never age. Have you know that, Jeffrey? And Jeffrey goes, as a matter of fact, last time I saw you, I did notice that. So on stage, I was joking that they're trying to fuck each other, but that's not what that is. That's some little encoded thing of people that are both in the thing. That's how I take it. And my girl goes, is Enigma a level of initiation in any of these like dumb groups? And I was like, I have no idea, but that's a good question. And then she looked it up. The enigmatic 33rd degree, the sovereign, I don't know what's called, like the sovereign postmaster general. So they wear a white
poser
bonnet.
master. Yeah, exactly. That there is.
It's called the enigmatic 33rd degree. Now, I know there's a 33rd degree. I don't know everything in gay wizard school, but I do know that one is for extreme dedication to leadership, that particular, and it's the enigmatic. And Trump hasn't really, he's been the same specific old man age for like the last how many years? Since the show, he looks like the same guy. Probably as old as Biden, right? But his brain isn't soup. So he hasn't aged really, like, you know, obviously aged, but he hasn't aged the way people age. And he also wears the white bonnet when they do. And then I remembered writing jokes for him. He didn't use my jokes.
Trump?
I guess for that. He used better ones than I gave for sure. But the Al Smith dinner he did, where I had jokes about how white, what's his name is. I don't know if it was Tim Waltz. I said about it, like you could, if he was any whiter, he'd tie a string around his wrist and make himself available in boys' restrooms. but he didn't do that. But anyway, he says to that dum-dum from New York, that Mayor Adams, recall Mayor Adams was about to be in big trouble because he was taking Turkish bribes. The dirtiest bribes there are, a Turkish bribe. You don't even want to know what that is, Jay. And I'm watching Trump to see if he does any of my jokes, and he looks over at Adams and goes, I had a feeling you're going to be just fine. Last time I heard Trump talk that way was to Sheriff Joe Arpaio, another sack of shit. And Trump said that to Adams, and lo and behold, Adams was okay. And the week before that, because I thought Adams was not okay because of those charges, and I think it's the Daily News, but it might have been the Post, they're announcing he reached the 33rd degree at his Freemason temple. That's a newspaper article. Yeah. Why would they do that? The conspiracy people would go crazy about something like that, talking about, I heard Adam's 33rd degree. So I took that as some way to hurt him politically with, like, black dudes that believe in conspiracies that I agree with in the city or some shit like that, right? But then Trump says you're going to be okay. And he was. I already heard that Trump is the white square. He's still in that Masonic thing. And he's just the white square. Kathy O'Brien believes in him. She was on Jimmy's show. She's like, no, you don't understand what he's up against. So, okay, that's fair. He is, I'm sure, up against, horrific people. But I'm like, that's not my problem. That's above my pay grade, right? You don't want to let me in on the plan. So I'm going to talk as if you're not in doing a plan, because I'm not going to hope in that you got a looking glass time machine and this is all part of the plan. I'm not going to count on that. If that's even a real thing, it's still my place to say you're an asshole in this timeline, whatever gay shit they want you to think. I don't believe it. I think he's what Gary Wayne said. You ever see Gary Wayne?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I like him, dude. And he's like a real Bible born again kind of guy.
Oh, yeah, one of these like an end times Nephilim type of dude.
Yeah, but he's so much better than the average. In general, with that kind of American Protestant rednecky kind of, the Hal Lindsey, late great Planet Earth kind of.
John Hagee and the blood moons of the 12 moon piles of Israel.
Yeah, I used to hear people talk about the red heifer, and I had to read the Bible a lot growing up.
The red heifer, my ex-wife.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, like there's nothing. I don't remember the Bible saying nothing about no red heifer. Is that some Cabala shit? Yeah, it is. It's some Talmud shit. So that's part of that Schofield Bible crap. That's all psyop from England.
Correct.
Most of the Christianity here is British psyop bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really enjoying watching. And the reason I think rednecks are figuring it out quicker is because they like wrestling. And so you can spot the patterns of kayfabe a lot easier than a Yankee. That's the coastal. You know what I mean? I that's just a little hypothesis I got. But they, that Schofield Bible crap and the Warby I mean, that was Christianity for how long, dude? Like 30 years straight, it feels like. And I remember having little friends where I would have little Bible arguments.
Yeah, so I was raised in that. I was raised in like the dispensational Baptist mindset.
Yeah, and look, if you're all for going to war where you're going to blow up some other Christians, I think you're not a Christian is what I think of you. I mean, I'm not saying you're bad. I'm just saying you're not a Christian because I'm pretty sure Christians don't do that. That's not the way, as it was called. They said the same thing as the Mandalorian. This is the way. And the way is to not do that. So that wipes out how much of Christianity is being fake right there.
Yeah,
almost
it's
all
largely fake and get, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what, I mean, if you're going to stay in lore about it, that's what Christ said, isn't it? Or narrow and cramped is the rabbit hole leading to everlasting life. I'm paraphrasing him, but it's that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned this this esoteric stuff. I did see in a book from some years back, one of the Trump books from the 80s. This is probably the most odd thing I've ever seen in the whole Trump thing.
Did you text me this? I think you texted me about this a long time ago.
No. There's a different thing. There is this one. Maybe I did. There's this one reference in one of the '80s books that Trump did. The very beginning, it's very first chapter. It's like he talks about thanking people in New York that he met. It's something like, I did learn quite a bit studying Cabala under Rabbi
Show.
Yeah,
you told me that. Yeah. Oh well, dude. Listen, if you're into the heavy side of Freemason, any of these, all of them are Kabbalah. All of them, they all come out of that shit. Okay, so that's in everything, and then everybody makes their own little variation on it. But I don't even think that's a Jewish thing. I think that's like some Babylonian. I could guess what it was
before Jews adopted this idea. It's Neoplatonic stuff. So Neoplatonism is what influences the medieval rabbinic tradition to adopt these kind of world structures. And you could read Gershom Scholem, who's one of the top Kabbalah scholars today, who will say that medieval Jewish Kabbalism is really just a version of Gnosticism and Neoplatonism kind of combined. So no, it's not an ancient thing.
He's good about talking about what the Frankists are, Gershom Scholem.
Yeah, I just bought that book, by the way. He has a book on from Jacob, how we get to Jacob Frank. I just bought that little book, actually.
Yeah, William Brandeis from the Brandeis scumbag family. He had a locket of that dude's weird incest Christ daughter that he would.
Let me ask you this question, because you read a lot on this stuff, which is odd, because in the comedian world, not a lot of people read and go too deep into this stuff. So I think you're kind of an outlier.
How are you gonna write jokes if you don't know about stuff? How do you write anything if you don't like? A lot of people think there's disclosure in movies, and like, I'm sure maybe sometimes, like the Top Gun rehearsal for that fake Iran.
This is what my books are about: disclosure in movies. So
yeah, but the thing is, there's a lot of people that are writers. And I bet a bunch of them are a lot smarter than me. I'm just, this stuff I learned in 5 minutes taking a shit. So, you know what I mean? Off my phone. It's not like I did, but writers, especially back in the day, they would have to do a lot more research.
Reading, yeah.
Yeah. And here's the horrific part of what I realized about everything. And nothing is, you don't got to wait for no disclosure, dude. It's all out there. Literally, you could just go find out what the deal is if you're sick of waiting for disclosure. Most people aren't. They really don't want it. And they don't want to look, and they like to, and it would be a trauma for them to have to look at reality for the way it is. It's like, first of all, ego death, but not like no mushrooms. It's a sober ego death. Which, who the hell wants that? Nobody wants that. But guess what? You're gonna have it either way. So I don't care. Like, you don't got on my new podcast. My disclaimer is Departed with where the one Irish guy with the scars in the interrogation room, and what's his name? Private Ryan comes in. Matt, what's his dumb name? He comes in. He goes, "Listen, fuck stick. You don't gotta trust me. Just listen to what I'm saying to you." That's my disclaimer for the things I say. So you'll be like, "Oh, that sounds far-fetched." Hey, listen, fuck stick. You don't gotta trust me. Just listen to what I'm saying to you, because guess what's gonna happen? Time's gonna tell you that I'm fucking right. Because that's what happened to me. I had a bunch of people 20 years ago tell me a bunch of stuff, right? And they stick out my memory because they were right. So I don't care what you fucking think. I'm just telling you what I know. And if I'm wrong, so what? I'm still better than the press. Like, any one of you talking out your asshole is better than the press. Like, it's unbelievable. Especially, I went on Ashton Forbes' show. Because in all these topics, people don't like each other, and they like, that's my research, and what I don't care about. Stop fighting over you know how important this shit is? Why are you bickering over that? That's how they get you. You bicker over who found the thing. Shut the fuck up. Everybody's got to find this out. So just be happy somebody said it. I mean, I'm not talking about somebody stealing your workout right and shit, but you know what I'm talking about? There's so much little. Anyway, I love that dude, Ashton Forbes. He's like really keyed into it, and like, it's like Candace Owen won't let go of Macron's wife having a dick, which I fully support. It's like that.
You support the theory, or you support her having the penis?
What'd you say?
you support the theory that it's a man, or that you
Oh, I
support her
believe
having
100%
the
it
penis?
is. And I support Canada. I think she should be nominated the Dong Finder General of the United States of America. If somebody's hiding a dong, because she don't let go when she thinks she smells dong. But she's right. Like, it's so funny. Like, and I watched Piers Morgan, that idiot, interview her. You know, that fake, like,
I just
what
went
do you
on Piers Morgan
mean?
twice, so yeah, I think I'm banned from it now. But yeah.
Why, he already came, so he doesn't need you anymore.
Well, they had this thing debating whether R word or N word is worse, and I was defending hard R retard, and that seemed to anger Pierce, which is weird because he seemed to be defending free speech. So I thought he was defending free speech, but then it was like, no,
Oh yeah, well, that's
retard's
how he
bad.
gets
So
you.
I don't know the rules.
What he's doing is a Jerry Springer little circus show. You could tell. Okay, you could tell he either has to have some respect, or he knows he can't dick you around if you're on by yourself. Okay, or like my friend Jackson Hinkle, I think he has on because he's like has a boner for him. Same thing with that fat guy. I call him the squid and the whale, but I don't know what their names are.
Precious?
Or no, I call him the
Come on,
tortoise and the
Precious?
hare.
Who you talking
It's like James Whale or something. And his so I call him tortoise and hare. And they have Jackson Hinkle on. They're like, oh, and you can tell they get a little weird thrill because Jackson has good hair, and he's saying like, you know, he's like telling the truth about Ukraine stuff, and they're and they get all excited. But Piers knows better. There's no way that guy just didn't know. Like, you know, now he's talking about how Gaza's a crime. I just watched him talking to Tucker before that, and he goes, Tucker's like, well, I think anybody could agree it's awful to kill women and it's a crime to just blow up women and children. Is it? Piers Morgan, is it? I don't know, Piers, isn't it? You British scumbag. His brother-in-law is in military shit. These people are phonies,
Yeah.
most of them, and I'm surprised. Like, so Candace Owen now, I like the work that she's doing. Like, if she's wrong, I'll say it. But great, and I like that dude. What's his name? She has on Ian Carroll. Ian Carroll does good work, I think. And then people are don't do suspicious because where'd he come from? From TikTok, you old fucking fart. He was on TikTok saying stuff with a thing you're not on and I'm not on. So that's why. And it's good that he was. Why would you be mad at him? But that's what you got to deal with when you step into this. But I want everybody to understand, I don't give a shit. You know, I'm a birthday clown by day. So that's my money comes from that. So all this shit, I don't care. Like, say whatever. I don't give a shit. Half the time it's a bot or some kind of op, or, you know, somebody who's being astroturfed or a cutout, or it's just so much like
Right.
you could tell who's a liar. Like the scripture about it, or the fruits, the tree bear, you know, the tree by its fruits. You know them by the fruit of their work. But that holds. I think that holds real well.
So I want to ask you about Jeffstein McEffrey and his temple. I think I was trying to think about whether I could
Phoenician bathhouse.
Yeah, whether I could come up with like occult connections to Jeffstein McEffrey. And Whitney's book has the transhumanist stuff at the end.
Well, he's got those pillars in his library in there. You've seen.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean,
like
it does look like a temple.
Rosicrucian.
What do you think that was? You think it was a temple?
It's occult stuff. It's all that.
Right.
Maybe Ghislaine's a mother of darkness or whatever.
It kind of looks like an OTO kind of thing.
Well, but OTO. So when I didn't know this before, but I found out kind of recently that OTO, your final initiation, is to invent a religion.
Yeah, when you go up through
Not
the
invented,
ranks, and that's why you've got Gerald Gardner and you've got Scientology, what's his face, right? Like when they graduate the ranks of the Crowleyan, you know, ladder, you go create. It's a grad school in creating your own cult.
Yes, I mean that's the big Templar secret. I bet is that old ancient mind control. And I got to watch. You think how many chicks you know that are like city laptop liberal chicks that are like they just conspiracy. They love gossip though, but they hate conspiracies, right? And they know every true crime. In fact, a lot of girls will know conspiratorial stuff about crimes because they're so into true crime, right? But it's a step too far to put it all together. And
well, it's like crime. It's like conspiracies only happen at the local level, not at the macro level. Which
no, at the top, they're just good people doing their best. Because people are trained, especially you come from a good family, you're trained to be submissive to power. That's not the same thing as like, you know, like fear of God, let's say. It's not the same thing as that at all. Submissive to power is where all the worm-like behavior. So, I know people are mad about this Epstein thing, but look on the bright side, man. Diddy's coming home. Prayer works. I think we've proved that. Dr. Cosby and now Diddy are coming back. But nobody's going to put those together. That Diddy and Epstein are a thing connected, which they absolutely are. I watch like people, dude, you know what disturbed me? I watched John Kiriakou on Danny Jones.
Yeah.
He brought up this, and they're talking about Epstein. And so John was on Jimmy's show, and I like that he, I never heard of him, by the way. I know he went to jail for exposing the torture program, but I never heard of him. That doesn't mean he didn't do that at all. I'm just saying I never heard of him. It was like kind of recent I ever heard of him. Okay. But I notice he's making a lot of good cases for a lot of stuff. So good on you, man. Then he brings up how Reagan's friend Bloomingdale, Alfred Bloomingdale, from his kitchen cabinet, like all these people, and Reagan, I think it's like that Clancy book, Clear and Present Danger, where Jack, the CIA guy, goes, say you were great friends with him, Mr. President. Don't distance yourself. I think he probably took it from this story. And John tells the story how Reagan first said, I don't know who that is. And then comes out when he goes, actually, he was my best friend. Okay. And he was using it as an example to explain to Danny Jones about how to handle something like that. Okay, great story. John, how do you not know the more of the story of that? And we're talking about Epstein, because that was Reagan's Epstein, Alfred Bloomingdale. And Reagan had Vicky Morgan murdered. And an innocent man went to jail like Sirhan, clearly an MK Ultra program guy. Unless you're stupid and you're like on the wrong team, it will leap out at you that is what they did. Okay? It's connected to Larry Flint. You're in the CIA, or you're in that, and you know who Alfred Bloomingdale is, but you don't remember that part of the story in a conversation about Epstein. So that's bing, that's an alarm bell to me. Maybe he's got a great reason, but that's very strange.
Well, same with the Franklin cover-up. That's also goes back to the Reagan-Bush era White House, and that was all a very similar pattern of compromise with, houses, party houses, sort of wired up for surveillance. We see that with
all of them. You really think there's a rich millionaire playboy with 70 girlfriends, and he loves your performance so much he wants to have you come over and do whatever you want with his house of holes? No, that don't really exist. There's not really just a guy that's that cool. Nothing's free. Like Nick Bryan said it really well at Chris Hedges. You already compromised, dude, and you're on the yacht. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. I just had Nick on a couple days ago. We did a whole overview of the whole Epstein thing in regard to what's happening and the cover.
Well, Nick Bryant won't go as far as I'll go, and I know because I on Jimmy's show I poked it, but I don't think that's bad at all in his case at all, because my friend Barry Crimmins that died, who, he got I can't believe I have to say graped. What a stupid. This is China. This country is China without the flying cars. Just so you know where you live, communist China, you don't have to say grape about a crime. Okay, in this stupid fucking country. I mean, anybody that doesn't understand how low it's sunk is an idiot, dude.
No, I mean, we rant on my channel quite often about how it's like being a child and you have to like make up code words. It's crazy.
It's very creative, I guess. But anyway, when he was 4, he was graped by the babysitter, the babysitter's mom's boyfriend. Didn't come out about till he was 40 on stage. He's a legendary comedy. The guy saved my life at a bad time, I got to tell you. But this dude was like the Equalizer, the old one, not the one where they replaced it with Queen Latifah. The old white man that ran around helping people. Yeah, and we went on tour. Everywhere I went, he had helped somebody in some crazy ass way with some horrible thing. He's the one that testified in front of Congress to make AOL get rid of their 3 strikes and you're out for CP policy. That's what AOL did. Because in the beginning, you paid by the hour and only rich pedos could afford it. A lot of, I mean, it's not automatic because you're autistic, but because they put poison in everyone until their kids came out as half an iPhone, right? iPhones are like really programmable. Human nature's programmability. That's the secret they all know. Okay, is that human nature is programmability. So when you see Yuval Noah Harari writing about his weird little goblin editorial about free will,
yeah,
they call you bio-programmable human robotoids since back, I don't know, the 60s. That's what Kissinger was calling people that they did this to. And you could tell they mass rolled it out. Don't worry about a chip in your head. They don't need no chip, stupid. They already done it. They rain shit on your head, and then they have carrier waves, like the blue light. You only get blue light now.
Yeah,
because they got and it's not that they can't really change your free will even with all that. That's what I really think is really hysterical. They want to tell you there's no free will, but even with all the poison,
you got that all the way back to Bertrand Russell, and it's repeated by Harari and Klaus. There is no consciousness, there is no mind, there is no free will. But also we're going to upload your mind and your consciousness to the cloud. But the mind and consciousness doesn't exist. So it's like, why do you have to stamp out?
Can you imagine what a nightmare? And I heard this guy. I don't know what happened. He kind of disappeared. This guy Nicholas, he's some German dude. My friend Emma's got a show of all people who were in various programs. Now some of them are just crazies, right? Obviously, you're going to have that. Some of them, shit happened to them, but they're crazy, and you're not going to get the good story. A couple of them stay with you for a long time, And Nathan Reynolds stayed with me for a long time. J.R. Sweet stayed with me for a long time. This guy Gray. Okay, because then I could correlate, because I'm on a news show, I can correlate stuff you're talking about to other stuff. Kathy O'Brien's book stayed with me because I just read about Gary DeVore, the writer with no hands. And her handler was a serial killer who had a thing for taking people's hands off, by the way. I didn't even bring it up to her, I forgot. But I'm dying. I go, holy shit. And Gary DeVore was about to rat out Panama with what we were doing in Panama at the time. And Kathy O'Brien went to Panama with Michael Aquino, that scumbag moonchild creature that your despicable government had.
Yeah, the Mind War, Side War, Satanist, Temple of Set.
But it's not like America lost its way because it's founded by Luciferian human traffickers out of the gate. So don't get hung up. One good thing about Jehovah's Witnesses, and I've seen a lot of stuff from, I read in the Fritz Springmeier books, they talk about Charles Taze Russell's Freemason, and he comes out of that tech sector of goofball religions, and they call it the Psychic Corridor or something, don't they? Where Albany, New York, all the way down is called the Psychic Corridor. That's where all the spiritualism and seances and Mormons and Jehovah's, and everybody comes out of the same spot. Just like now, the tech sector, Silicon Valley, that was Silicon Valley back then.
Mm-hmm.
And Silicon Valley, you'll notice, has the same variety of new age cults that Albany did back then. Because this stuff is very intertwined.
Intertwined with like elite families and bloodlines and money.
And they're all hinting to you. So scumbags like Arthur C. Clarke, a guy who is such a filthy pederast, he was exiled to Sri Lanka from Britain.
Yes.
Can you imagine being that much of a goddamn boy wrangler that
also into Crowley too, by the way.
They always edit that out about Crowley when they're acting like it was cool what he did. What do you do? Stink up a house and molest some kids? Like, are you joking? Well, put him on that Beatles album because he's an influence. That's disturbing. That's the thing that I would never even have the eyes to see that before a couple of years ago. And the only reason I do now is because of noticing such insanity that, I see the game. I'm old now. I'm 48, so I'm old enough to go fight in Ukraine and die. It's over for me. There's a new generation of suckers. And guess what? They're getting more and more spurgy. So they're not going to, that's what they're counting on. That's why they remade us. And Greta Thunberg's like on the evolution chart, the big head gray alien, she's about 3 steps away from that. They made these people, not in the lab. The lab's your country that you live in, and you're, they use every part of the buffalo. I don't want to just say, they eat it and fuck it, these people. And they're going to mutate your kids. Once you start adding up the details, it's not a mistake. It's not incompetence. It's intentional. And why would we want a bunch of autistics from now on? Well, they compartmentalize themselves. You don't have to even compartmentalize them. They stay in their lane. I like anime, right? They stay right in that. And they don't like outside noise. Oh, what a happy accident. They love every product. You could cock up Star Wars for 3 movies straight, and they'll burst into tears that a Star Wars was made. And they'll go to Disney World and stay in the Star Wars hotel, a thing no one who's not as smart-hearted would want to stay in. They'll go stay in it. They're weird about sex. You could program a new gender. You could sissy hypno them online and turn them into a different gender.
Yes.
That's intentional. Don't tell me it's not.
No,
I watched
it's
Love
definitely
on the
intentional.
Spectrum.
John C. Lilly wrote a book decades ago, and he was the dolphin perv freak dude.
He's worse than that. He's much worse than that.
Well, I mean, he is, because in the book he talks about engaging in these activities, programming kids, kind of he kind of verges on like the Alfred Kinsey type stuff. But he says it in the book.
Oh, dude. Remember they made a movie about Kinsey that had Janine Garofalo's in it?
And Liam
Neeson right? from Taken is Kinsey, I think, right?
Yeah, and somebody messaged me one time because we were talking about that on a podcast, and they were like, I didn't know when I was involved in the production of this movie, and I didn't even know that he was that bad. I'm like, how do you not? I mean, what's what he's known for? What do you mean? You didn't know?
Or just the gender is a spectrum shit makes me so enraged when I think of, because I saw on 60 Minutes when I was a kid, one of those kids that he did. It's insane what he did. And the story is just about how this kid had a botched circumcision. So some wacky mad scientist said, transition him and just I'll make him be a girl with psychology. Now, this is years ago when I don't have all this knowledge now and hindsight, or, and it was so sad. This person, they live with their animals in a trailer in the woods because the animals don't judge. And I was a kid, and it was like as disturbing as the video to One by Metallica was at the time. One disturbed the hell out of me when I remember I was in 6th grade, and I was like, it like ruined me for 2 days just knowing that story. But anyway, years later, I start hearing, no, gender and sex are different. And so I'm not, I went to Art Institute for 2 years. I don't know fucking and I thought it was something I had mistaken. Like how I thought it's not the Ukraine, but it is fucking the Ukraine. It's not Ukraine. It's marketing shit.
It's Kev.
But I don't know. Kev. I didn't go to genderqueer school to learn how to queef at people with nonsense. So I thought that, and then I find out it's this piece of shit mad scientist that mutilated this kid. Oh, and by the way, viciously molested him and his brother. I find that out later. And we're going off what he says to say gender and sex are different. And, you would think that would be enough to say, fuck this entire system that you live in. But it wasn't at all. It was just like a little thread. Any one of the things that come up are a reason to say, fuck the whole country, don't participate. Any one of them. But you're not going to say that. What happens is once you start finding out the truth, it avalanches on you. It's overwhelming. And people know that, and they don't want to know. I know because I'm fucking relentless, and I've tormented everyone I know because I want to see where they break and go, I just want to keep my head down and do my job. Those words exactly, at least 3 times. Right. You can say that to me and I'll leave you alone.
Kurt's the only dude I know that, like, when Kurt texts you, you get footnotes in your iMessage. It's wild.
It's brutal what I do. But I don't give a shit. I want to know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. How do you know this stuff exists, that there's an Epstein child trafficking, and he's a minor part of it.
Right.
That shitbag goblin, Leslie Wexner, okay, who, let's face it, subconsciously is the reason that Harry Potter was controversial about that connection of goblins and anti-Semitism. His goblin-y, despicable fucking face. And that Netflix documentary tried to make it like, oh, he was just a little gay and got taken advantage of because he was lonely and gay. Shut the fuck up.
You've heard that thing about you've heard that thing about the Dybbuk, right? That Leslie Wexner says he's possessed by a Dybbuk.
Yeah, I like that concept of the Dybbuk because I have a deep suspicion. People say, they do a focus group thing of like, do you like Star Wars better or Left Behind better? And that's the ending of the movie. Is it Nephilims or is it aliens? I don't know about no either or shit. I think this planet might have been a source planet, like, when you say Eden. And I think, I'm going to tell you all my crazies right now. I think interdimensional trillionaires transhumaned and cannot transition back. And they're going to hijack you with bullshit like astral projecting to get you out of your car so they could take it. That guy, Nicholas, I was talking about before and I got off track. He said he was forced. They tried to make him like join with Lucifer. And he said it was a plasma ball of inverted souls, which is the most interesting thing I ever heard related to because I hate when people say Lucifer. First of all, that's not Satan. That was never Satan. That's a Latinization bullshit. Now, no one, including Nathan Reynolds, who I talked on the phone, he hadn't heard this story. Maybe you have heard of it. Do you know who Saint Lucifer of Cagliari is?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I know, and then if you know anything better, you could clear us up. So, okay, there's a guy who's he's like a bishop or something, I guess, when Arianism, which I guess Jehovah's Witnesses were that Jesus was God's son and not God himself incarnate. Ariani. Your listeners probably know.
Yeah, we know Arianism. Yeah.
So Cagliari, so Saint Lucifer did not want to forgive the repentant Arians that were like, we acknowledge the Trinity now, but he wouldn't let go of it. So whoever the Pope was, like they excommunicated him. But I guess in Cagliari, whatever, he's a saint. But the fact his name was Lucifer indicates to me that was not a name for Satan before that, because you have a bishop named that. I would assume that wasn't one of the names of Satan at the time. The real name is Hillel ben Shahara, is what I thought. And then the Latinization bullshit puts Lucifer in. But is that some kind of smear job on this guy from back then that they use his name to mean Satan? Because Saint Lucifer of Cagliari, why is he excommunicated? He won't forgive. Satan's the accuser, right? He's the prosecutor that wants you to get the harshest penalty possible. Were they taking his name? This is what I'm asking you. Were they taking his name and attaching it to this for all time as like a fuck you?
Well, I mean, I think that he's considered a saint, not anything to do with his name. I just think it has to do with like what he stood for and his opposition.
No, what he stood for, but the official church, I don't understand how he's called a saint. Because if you're talking about saints, you must be in the church, and the church is calling, uses his name as shorthand for Satan. So I would think that would be weird, but I don't really understand Catholicism.
This is just a word. It's just a word concept distinction between the word Lucifer, the name Lucifer, Lucifrase, or any of these kinds of terms can be used in different contexts. So sometimes, like in the Bible, the morning star is referred to as Venus, but it's also used to refer to Christ. So it's like when, Charles Manson has this idea that because, there's some similarities between a symbol that's used for two different things, that it must be referring to the same thing. But in philosophy, that's called a word concept fallacy. So it's like Charles Manson.
Process Church did that to him, right? That's the Process Church.
Yeah, well, but there is something to this, because Manson thinks that, like, if the the lion of the tribe of Judah in the Bible, that's a symbol for Jesus. But the lion is also used in some ways to refer to the devil, right? Peter says the devil wanders about like a lion trying to destroy and devour whom he may. So symbols are flexible in that way. They can be used for different things. But a lot of kind of crazy people like Charles Manson, for example, would conclude that because a symbol is used for two different things, then the referent must be identical.
I think he got programmed with that, and I think he got sent down in an interview. It's Mae Brussel, and I forget the other guy's name. They're talking about Project Silverbug, and this is an old interview, and they're talking about how Reagan, when he let all the cuckoos out of the loony bins, he sent people down with Jim Jones and Charles Manson because they were testing out the programming on people. Charles Manson, I don't believe for 2 seconds a lone nut crazy guy at all. I don't believe that at all. He was created just like the Unabomber and the other fucking people. And what that doctrine is, and now I learned this from Nathan Reynolds. That's why I love his stuff. Go watch a guy. He's saying crazy shit, by the way. But you tell me if that looks like a guy who's lying to you, because it don't look like that to me. So maybe he's just crazy. But he's such an advanced nerd of liking this stuff. And he's into the Bible the way someone who's been through the things he said he's been through would be into it, is how I put it. But he explains his parents. They were Luciferians. That's what all these assholes are. Luciferian. That means you're above good and evil. You're not Hulk Hogan or the Iron Sheik. You're Vince McMahon. You hold the seething energies of Lucifer in your hand while you shit on your bank secretary's head with your other guy that works for you. You know that story from the Lesser? And then you tell him to finish up while you take a shower. I think we're done here, Vince. Thanks for that. Yeah, go get a shower, asshole. So that's what that is. That's Luciferian. Because think of how you could be a leader of this despicable country on this despicable planet. I mean, I like the planet and I like the people of the country and the blah, blah, blah. But the governments, we all know, I don't know why everybody settles for the lesser of two evils, but that's hell. Just so you know. Like, I used to joke about this, but now I think it. I used to joke like, how did Trump how did the devil win the elections of hell? Like, what are you talking about, you idiots? Where do you think you live? And why do you live that way? Because you believe in lesser of two evils, but that's still evil. And you're like, well, I'm not good enough to not put up with evil. Obviously, blood makes the grass grow. You ever hear that phrase? That's for football or for killing kids in Gaza. It works for them all. That's Luciferianism. But I'm also good, and I do Live Aid concerts. That means the only way that's for people to survive their cognitive dissonance of the horrific evil. So when you're like, gee, do you think it's true that Hillary Clinton would eat a kid's face? I'm like, well, she starved 250,000 to death. We thought it was
it's like millions of people dying is no big deal. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, like you watch on C-SPAN what they do. That's what I'm covering on Jimmy's show with him. You watch what they're just willing to do in front of your stupid face. And then people have the nerve to act like they're Neil deGrasse Tyson with me about any weird story. I don't know if they're flying saucers. They did a genocide in broad daylight, you stupid fuck. And not only did they hide it, you're going to actually, sometime in the future, you're going to go, how could the Holocaust have happened? Maybe there's something psychologically wrong with the German people. Blah, blah, blah. It's you, asshole. That's you. You don't get it? They could hide all kind of things. Now, flat Earth is way too stupid for me but maybe someone can answer this. I don't see what the benefit of making me think that is, since I don't give a rat's ass what shape the Earth is and no one else does. So I don't care about any you got some math about why it's not round? I don't care. Tell me why they're doing this, because that's more than the network of the cabal. That's way more people than that you need to pull that off. You need all the pilots and ship captains, everybody else. Okay, they're all in on it. But why? And you either get, I don't know, from the savvy, probably faking it ones, or Flat Earth Dave will tell you it's because it makes you feel farther away from God. Because
I decided back in about 1999 on Fat Earth with PHAT. So that's all I know, and that's where I'm at. By the way, we're going to be doing a Sam Hyde episode on Flat Earth. I don't know where that's going to be going. That's going to be
Tartaria is, I call it Retardia.
Tartaria. That's no. I'm all about some anti-Tartaria shit. I hate that stuff.
But no, there's Windows on the World, great channel, by the way. I meant to recommend. He's got a great thing about, because there's a town in Romania, a city in Romania called Tartaria. What it was that Mongol thing. It's all these confederations that are like tribal and yet got along. They weren't really it wasn't really how they make it out. And that's because these assholes in the Anglo-American world power want you to believe you can't get along with people from a different tribe without killing them, because that's how they are. And that's what that's about. I don't know. I think Flat Earth is a Jesuit psyop. That's what I think. Is Tartaria some kind of Russian Orthodox thing? I don't know. I don't know where it came. I know it came from a Russian guy. They must have, look, because the Catholics got Knights of Columbus, and they got the Jesuits and all those other gross little orders.
Right, so the Jesuits are pushing Flat Earth, and then
think what Flat Earth
and the KGB are pushing, and the Russian Orthodox Church is pushing Tartaria.
But here's the reason you do this. It's because secular materialism is a big deal that people get into. And the thing where someone holds on to an irrational belief, and then they start doing math at you, which I think is hilarious, that you've created a bulwark, like a balancing act, to offset how secular the other people are. If you got a core of people that are like, I'm not going with you no matter what, it don't really matter what they believe. What matters is that they're a counterweight. And I think that's the goal of that. Because I remember talking to Mike Cernovich years ago about, he was trashing somebody, and he was like, well, the media is like overly social Marxist, so I'm just trying to create a balancing force against that. And I'll bet you that, and I wasn't into it when he said it, even though I liked him a lot. I haven't talked to him in a while. That principle, it was such a weird thing that I had never thought of before. And I was like, I'll bet you other people have thought of this and have done it for quite some time. I'll bet you, right? We know the government, the CIA was given third world leaders like a computer that does horoscopes because they believe hardcore in that. And of course it's rigged to make them believe. So there's all these people that are basically Macbeth that trust witches, and they're giving them a computer that does their witchcraft. And you think, and that's a real thing. You look it up. And that was a rigged machine that they would hand out. Kathy O'Brien talks about the president of Mexico at the time when she was taken underneath NASA, and they chilled a lizard and inserted it into her so they could fake her giving birth to it and send it to the president of Mexico because he thought he was related to dragon people or lizard people. And they also believe in that crap, but they don't want to give the whole story to that guy. They want to be like, just how they do it on YouTube. Every level of mystery school. Why is it a mystery? Because they're holding it back to string you along. That's what you learn at Harry Potter Homo College. You learn how to do that. I blame J.K. Rowling for her own attacks. I blame her because you, just like I look at this stuff, to write that stuff, you studied real occult to do that. This parcel tongue and all that shit. These people call themselves a serpent race. You know that? Your rulers, they call themselves the serpent race. And it's not about that they're half lizard or something, or maybe, I don't know, that part of it is. It has to do with their Cain impregnated Eve in Cabala. Or not Cain.
We're going
Satan.
full Lilith right here. We're going straight up to Lilith Fair.
No, not Lilith. Eve gave birth to Cain, but Cain was the son of the serpent.
We're going full Sarah McLachlan, Lilith Fair up in here.
Well, Lilith is like the side, the first wife, or I don't know. She wanted to only be on top of the I don't know that. But who the fuck knows, dude? I think about this a lot. This is the thing that Nathan said that I think about a lot. He goes, I remember being in the South and people thought snakes used to have legs because God said you're going to crawl on your belly, and eat dust. And when you see debunkers, they go, oh, snakes don't eat dust. That's stupid. Okay, that is. But Nathan goes, what is man made of? In lore, what's man made of? Dust. So they eat people. That's what that means. I hadn't even thought of that. I watched some other guy talking about it. It's not that they had legs. They had wings. The plume serpent.
Mm-hmm.
They had wings, and that's why they're on the ground now. So that's like Quetzalcoatl and stuff, right? America's named after Amaru, which is from Peru, I think. It's like a multi-headed dragon.
This conversation is like an acid trip. I feel like this is like if Sam Tripoli took acid and fell asleep.
Dude, I gotta get
to
Sam
a David Icke lecture. Yeah. That's what this conversation is turning into. This is wild.
Sam will know a lot of stuff. I give it to him, dude. And he found Andy Hunt from Control History that I didn't know how to reach him. Like Sam finds a lot of good stuff, man. He really does. But I gotta tell you, there's no such thing as nukes. If you think that's not a psyop from some kind of Mossad NATO bullshit, since they're trying to tempt World War III, really? You think the more likely thing is that there's, and then they go, well, those movies are fake. Well, I know the one probably is, but let's keep this in mind. Their technology is always 60 years ahead, always. So if there was no such thing as a camera that could do that back then for you to buy, that don't mean they didn't have it. I'm not saying they had it, but it don't mean they didn't have it. They probably had some more wild shit than you can even imagine actually right then. Secondly, okay, they faked that. That's a fake. There's a fake film. So what? That doesn't prove that nukes are fake. You got to explain 80 years of extremely entangled geopolitics to me. There's a lot of stories you got to untangle for me now. Are you going to? I'll bet you're not. And he didn't. But maybe he hasn't. He was like, oh, you're being smug. I'm not. I'm more susceptible to listening to you than I've ever been in my life. But you got to answer the question to my satisfaction. That's all. And I'm not hearing anything satisfactory about that. The problem with nukes, let's face it, is you can't use them because everybody's going to know you did it. Well, I got some great news for everyone. They have way worse shit than that now. And they ain't going to tell you about it because they want to use it. That's earthquake weapons and basically all the apocalypse shit, right? All the horsemen, they got a weapon of that. They can simulate. See, I always dismiss Revelation because it wasn't going to be in the Bible until, what's his name, had a fight with somebody in the church, some church father. Not Arian. It's not, I can't remember, but I don't like, and I'm turned off by Hal Lindsey shit from back in the day. It had never occurred to me that these psychopaths, I got this from Gary Wayne. No, it's like summer stock to them, like Shakespeare. They're going to do Revelation. They're going to do this. So when you hear Peter Thiel talking about the Antichrist, it's Antichrists with a plural. There's not, the beast is not the Antichrist. You're just saying that. Okay? There's not the Antichrist. Paul said there will be Antichrists among you. That's the scripture. The dispensationalists pump that dumb shit. Okay. Didn't occur to me that the people in charge, the serpent race, I don't call them that. That's their word. They're going to reenact it on purpose because they think they can win. They think the Bible you got, they put it together, and they did put it together. So that's suspicious to me. But I think something backfired on them that they didn't anticipate. When you see all these moonchild, like Aquino's a moonchild, all these, I think whatever the historicity of Jesus, I don't give a rat's ass. Honestly, the Trinity, I don't care what you believe in your head. I really don't care what you believe in your head. I think the Trinity sounds dumb, but how do I know? I care how you act. It's called the way you behave. That's what I care about. I don't care in your head, Imagineer, whatever you fucking want. I don't give a fuck. But here's what I do know. These assholes want you not to believe in it no matter what. They want you not believe in it. And why, though? I think it has because there's some legal loophole with that they don't want you. It's like my mom would argue a coupon to some store and she would have them dead to rights from the coupon, you know? They did some kind of ceremony. Here's just a silly, Christian won't like it, but I like it. They did some ceremony to make a moonchild because Mary was from a good family. And that's what happens to kids in good families. They have to go through weird astrology bullshit, and 3 Persian magi got to show up, all kinds of creepy shit. And I think thought they were calling something down. And much the way if you made a deal with the devil and it blew up in your face the way that does, I think a reverse version of that happened. And when they called Jesus in, because they're all legalistic, all this work, there's all legalisms. It's very like, I don't know why that is, but anything in like, they have to kind of tell you what they're going to do to you, or they lose energy and they don't get it back, is how I look at it. So, the way corporation works, like iTunes agreement stuff, you don't even look at it. You just say, I agree. And next thing you know, you're a human centipede like South Park. I think that's how they do shit.
Damn,
dude.
And
I think Jesus is it's a public defender. Satan is the accuser. That's a position, not a guy's name. It's a position, like a prosecutor, a corrupt prosecutor that's aggrandizing himself. You're bad, Jay Dyer. You don't deserve anything. Look how bad you are, right? And then you have a public defender that's free. They don't like you having free stuff. They hate that. And they don't want you to know you can call your lawyer. So whether you believe or not, if I'm in trouble, you think I'm getting my free call to Jesus. I know my rights, asshole. I know my rights. That's how I look at it. Does that make sense?
I guess this is wild. You're like you're like the first generation of the Gen X experimented on. Do you think you were experimented on? Like, do you think you were, did you undergo
everybody
anything?
Everybody was. They did to everybody. It's not like a unique fucking thing, but some people got it more than others.
I'm just making a joke. I'm just kidding around.
But everybody was experimented on. The cartoons, the cereal, every single thing in your environment.
No, MK Ultra culture, MK culture, ultra, yeah.
Yeah, of course. We're in the mass rollout. Don't worry about the chip in your head. They don't need that. They got you. What do you think? They already did it. It's like Watchmen. They did their evil plan like 30 years ago, and it's in Kathy's book, and it happened. It happened. But they still can't. It's in Dune, dude. The Bene Gesserits are based on Jesuits. The way the priest class inbreeds royalty. And why? For dissociation. So something else can inhabit them.
Yeah, that's true. I did a 4th hour of Alex Jones show on Dune and Frank Herbert and the Bene Gesserit stuff. That's true.
I love that. I love that these control freaks can't control everything. And I don't believe the Earth prison shit, David Icke's. I don't believe that. It's a prison for somebody. I don't think it's a prison for me. I think that's the trick, is to make you think that you're in prison too. I think that's the big trick. So, like I said, I don't get in arguments about what the historicity of Jesus is. I know there's something to it at very least because of how hostile and how much they want to make it the same as Buddha and Krishna. And no, it ain't the same. No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not
create a world religion that's controlled. That's what's
because
in Dune. Dune has
Star
like a
Trek
fake religion.
Future. And all them Star Trek people were freaks. I think William Shatner killed his wife, I think. I don't think she just drowned in the pool. I think Chekhov, boy, looking at that, Andy's got good on control of history.
I was on a podcast years ago, like 10 years ago, and there was a really awesome clip that somebody dug up, Chris, that used to do Hoaxbusters. He dug up this clip of William Shatner at a convention, and somebody was recording him just kind of like signing autographs, and they said, hey, William Shatner, we saw you went to NASA, and they were like, what was that like? And he was like, he was explaining that NASA was really no different than the show Star Trek. It's like, he's like, they just kind of make up a lot of stuff about black holes and champagne supernovas, and he's like, and it's no different than what we were doing on Star Trek.
Well, it's a Nazi organization. The first guy in charge, Kurt Debus, with a B, Debus. Kurt Debus. He's got one of them big dueling scars that Nazis had. He's the head of NASA at the insistence of the famous one that we all know about. I don't think that we didn't land on the moon. I'm sure the footage has a lot of fakery in it. Of course it does.
Well, hold on. You think we played golf on the moon? That's the one that gets me.
Well, maybe. They say there's a blue Masonic flag on the moon. Now that is bizarre. If you need to put a blue Masonic flag on the moon, maybe I'm silly. Why would you can't fake that? That's something that's stupid that you'd have to do. It's almost like an Olympic event to demonstrate to the gods who the best is, because there ain't no reason to do that. It's to demonstrate to me, to the gods, just like the Olympics, our eugenics festival we have. They act like, oh, Hitler came to the Olympics and we showed him that a black guy could be a eugenic specimen. Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? A festival to gods that we supposedly don't worship. Well, the Council of 13, that's above the Committee of 300, they call themselves the Olympians. That's why. And if you look at
John
Phoenician
Coleman.
old stuff where they talk about what Phoenicians believe, they all said Zeus and all them were people. They were all like old kings. Do you know that? I just saw a guy. So that's and that explains a lot. That explains why the Greek gods act like perverts.
Yeah.
They act like Hollywood people. So that makes a lot of sense.
Well, in the book of Numbers, when the Israelites there's a certain point where they get tempted to engage in these rites, and it even says that the deity that they're tempted to worship is called the Lord of Open Holes, which is
I was going to bring that up, dude. Baal of Peor. That's the master of holes. Baal ain't Lord. They try to do that. Oh, well, Christ is Lord and Baal means Lord. No, don't. I don't think it. And I know that they're fiddling with it because it means owner or master. So I translate Baal as master. Okay, that's a little different because I read the Baal cycle because I was curious, like, okay, what's the church of the bad people in the Bible where they would learn about, like how you learn about Moses, like what do people that like Baal learn about? So I read this Baal Hadad, not Peor, not the master of holes. But there's a whole thing of like, I mean, it's so like mystery school. If you read it literally, it makes no sense. It's like he went to go fight death, but first he had sex with a cow in case he didn't come back so he could be born again. There's a whole thing in that. Okay. And then I'm like, wait, so Baal's master, how much you want to bet a cow is a human woman? How much you want to bet that's what they mean by cow? A human woman sex slave. Because I've seen secret space program people talk about how the Nordics, the Taijitans, the wife can be impregnated. If her husband dies, they can impregnate her with her husband and she can give birth to her because they live like 800 years. So he can come back and she'll give birth to him. And I was like, boy, that sounds very familiar, that story. That's a little weird sticking point with the Trinity with me is like, so you're telling me a God got his mom pregnant with himself? Okay, fine. But Jesus is God and Mary's his mom, right?
Well,
so God impregnated his mom with himself.
She's his human mother, but he didn't become God or become a son at the birth. He's eternally the son.
I don't understand none of it. But I'll tell you, that alien shit that I keep hearing thematic resonance with it. So I don't, I watched Nathan Reynolds on Merkel's podcast last, and then I watched Alandra Markman on Emma's podcast. For some reason, back to back, I can't remember why. It was very interesting because Nathan's talking about like literal dragons, and then Alandra Markman's talking about the Draco Empire of the reptilians, and I'm like, I'll bet you this is not a different thing. I'll bet you this is all the same thing. Everybody's talking. Maybe it's all bullshit, but I don't know that it is. I think I just go by themes, and then I go, okay, what themes match up? And I think we don't know what anything is, and it's just words. Words are just like a prison for concepts that are flying around, and you got to like sum them up and you put them in a little box. And these creeps, woke's not a mind virus, it's a word virus. Okay, so you take words you already knew the definition of, right, like a virus, and they come in and they inject a new definition into it that bursts the word so it means nothing. Right? They like gape the words.
So
you can't stick all them definitions because all the meaning slides out of the word. Like
well, the real question though. Okay, let me ask you this, because you have this sister, this slay queen sister has gone off. Tell me about Jacko. Was Jacko an alchemical operation to go from the Negredo phase to the calcination white phase?
It's funny that you say Negredo phase. Well, go watch Black Channels, dude. And it turns out, and this is Jay Parker has a story about them doing.
Hold on, you saying this ain't a Black channel? This is. I identify as a black man. I have at least 7 inward passes from actual black people. I identify as black. This is a Black channel, dog.
I mean, that is a regional thing. But anyway, Steve Coakley tells you about the Boule. He was like a black Alex Jones.
I did the Boule episode on the Sam Hyde podcast. I know all about that. But tell me about Jacko. What do you think about Jacko?
But people from his dad's band said they did a ceremony pouring some shit in his ear. And Jay Parker talked about a similar ceremony, entities being poured in your ear, but the kid would. You see what I'm saying? Maybe they're not interested. I'm not making any huge. I'm telling you these stories have a. So, and then Michael Jackson. First of all, he's not innocent, number one, but you understand the system. The perpetrators are also victims. Bill Cosby got victimized by himself, I'm sure. He used to go to Playboy parties. All these people are victims and perpetrators. You already know this from life. People go 2 ways, right? They either are like, I'm against this, or they become part of it. I mean, there was some kind of shit going on like that I think. For Reagan to like him so much and bring him in,
yeah, exactly.
Reagan loved that Wizard of Oz bullshit mystique. The first layer of magic bullshit is lying and doing magic tricks. But if you watch some people that do magic, like close-up magic and mentalism, they'll tell you that occasionally stuff will happen that is like they can't explain it while they're doing the trick. Why? Because you're a projector. Well, I'm just talking on my ass. You're not just an observer, you're a projector. So all the secret bullshit, which means the occult, you can manifest things, but they're leaving parts out. That's how they always do. Like they always leave parts out. Other people could do it too. So it's not like you could just make your own universe, asshole. We all live here. What these assholes do is chain your consciousnesses together to warp reality. Okay? Because, I mean, think about like what year it is. You don't know what year it is. They're just telling you a framework.
I've been saying forever, time is fake and gay. We don't even know. Times tables made up. Time zones made up. Fake and gay. It's all fake and gay. We lost you for a second, Kurt.
Well, if I hypnotize you and to believe you live in the 80s, right? Everybody watching, I hypnotize you. You live in the 80s, and then I never hypnotize you. Did I travel in time to the future? Kind of. Right? That's how much perception controls it. That's why PR is neuro-linguistic programming is the Twilight language. That is the fucking number one thing to learn if you want to be a disgusting occultist and trick people, which they do learn.
Well, and I mean, remember David Copperfield showed up in some of those Epstein documents. Remember that?
Oh yeah, you know how he made the Statue of Liberty disappear?
How?
His assistant in Anchorage, he made this like giant gravity bong. He's like, he hated David. He goes, "You ever hear those charges about him? Those are true." I had never heard them. This is years ago, dude. He goes, so on TV they go, "No camera trickery," and they show the audience, and the statue disappears. And he goes, "Oh, it was a camera trick. All they did was fake it with the camera and tell you that they didn't." Ta-da! And just think of that principle and apply it to everything because it always applies. It always applies.
Yeah, I mean, I have a book that talks about the CIA's recruitment of various stage magicians, like back in the 60s and 70s. They were trying to learn and master even some of the sleight of hand techniques because they thought that might be useful for some of the field operatives. Dude. So there's definitely some.
How about 9/11? When Jason Burmis was talking about how it's fake, and I wouldn't even look at it back then. I lived in New York. Okay, next thing I know, there's an invasion of Iraq. Ta-da! There you go. You could scale these up as above. So I'm writing a book called "As the Carpet, So the Drapes." It's all about how this works.
I can never tell. I don't know when you're being serious or when we're getting the professional trolling going. Is that true?
Yeah.
As the drapes. What was it? What was the title again?
As the carpet, so the drapes.
Are you being serious or not? I can't tell.
No, it's like about my esoteric wisdom. I received astral projecting during the pandemic. I just watched some YouTube videos. That's all I did. But you got to dress it up for the book, you know?
Okay.
No, I'm because I hate this gay shit so much. I'm spelling gay, G-E-H. Why are you gay? It's so unbelievably
gay.
It's hard to talk about because you got to say the word Atlantis out of your mouth, and I want to smash my head into a table when I hear the name Atlantis because it's so fruity. They all believe in it. All the scientists, all their work is funded by rich freaks that think they came from Atlantis. That's what I'd say to anybody who's a secular materialist. You know, you only do any of your work because a guy that thinks he came from Atlantis paid for it. So why would you be right, dipshit? Like, honestly, you're the guy above you thinks crazy things like a really poor person. And he just has funding. You don't wonder why the guy would be funding you. A guy that believes in Atlantis is funding you to tell me there's no such thing as Atlantis. You don't think about that? No, that's what they went to school to do, to not think about things that aren't the microcosm that they're supposed to focus on, right? Shit, I got to do Jimmy Show, dude. I got to go.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks for coming on, Kurt. Appreciate it.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah, this was wild. This was like it's like some sort of performance art. But be sure and subscribe to Kurt. Everybody on the stream, you can check out his links in the show description. Thank you so much, Kurt.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do it again, brother.
Great chat.
All right, man. I didn't realize how fast time flew. All right.
Wow. Like I said, dog, I feel like I was in an acid trip inside of Sam Tripoli's dream machine, watching old lectures of David Icke on a projector screen. I don't know what is going on or where I'm at. And I'm okay with that. I feel like I'm in I don't know where I am, but wow, that was insane. But I mean, it was fun. I feel like I don't know if I got trolled or I don't know what was happening, where we're at. I felt like I got MK Ultra handled by Kurt Metzger because I don't know where I'm at, dog. But I like it. I'm happy to be here. Guy for $5. Does anyone believe Stephen Hawking was real? Well, the internet cut out when I was making my Steve Hawking jokes, which is okay because actually I'm going to try to. I think I'm going to stay my Epstein Stephen Hawking jokes for stand up. So I'm actually okay that the internet cut out for whatever reason. No, well, I met Kurt when Tripoli took us to the Jimmy Dore live event, which was a blast. And it was Tripoli, Kurt Metzger, and Rob Schneider. And it was a 2-hour live event where everybody was sort of riffing and commenting on a live Jimmy Dore episode. It was a blast. It was super funny. And then Tripoli took us backstage to hang out with Kurt and Rob Schneider and Jimmy Dore, and they ordered pizza. It wasn't Pizzagate, dummies. Don't worry about it. It was just, but I was like, oh, who's this big bald dude? Oh, I used to watch him back in the day he was back in the day on Comedy Central, dog. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that's that Comedy Central dude I used to watch back in the day. And then here we are, talking to him and Rob Schneider. It was a dream. And this was like a dream. So anytime Kurt Metzger shows up, you can start pinching yourself because you might be in a dream reality. I don't know what's going on, but it's wild and it's fun. Quantum Yakub, $2. Whoa, Kurt and Day Jire, I must be dreaming. See, Kurt is like a walking CERN. It's like you get in the vicinity of Kurt and the reality's different. Where are we? What the heck is going on? It was wild. Okay. People want to know what acid is like. I can tell you what it's like because I've done it many times. I've had bad trips. This was a trip. This was an acid. Kurt is a living acid trip incarnated. Hades Undead, $5. Quote, I'm talking out of my butt. That's all that Kurt has said this entire stream. I mean, there's an art to this sort of stream of consciousness flow. And somebody said, Kurt reminds me of Alex Jones. A very similar sort of like stream of consciousness, man. That's where we're at. DL since $20. Who else? Who else in the Leprechaun say yeah? Yeah. Exactly. Hey, you, $10. Kurt is awesome. Somebody needs to help him create a website with charts and timelines that connect all the stuff that he knows. He's got spaghetti brain, but he spits fire. It's great. Thank you. Thank you to Hey You. Guys, remember we do have a show sponsor, Chalk.com, the best in supplementation on the internet. You can head on over to Chalk.com, CHOQ.com in the show description. And you can get a link. You can use the promo code J40. That's JAY40 to get 40% off all those great products over at Chalk.com. Now he had to go for the Jimmy Dore show, but I was really hoping to get into. I wanted to ask some questions about stand-up because Kurt has been dropping some advice and some wisdoms, and I wanted to get into his writing process. But hey, he's got to go. He's got that big show to do. So I want to thank him for coming on. This was wild. But that's okay. We like the wildness. So Andrew Lapanese, 2 Canadian. DARPA tech that's in both of your brain cells. Yes, nanotech, exactly. DC Woodworking became a member for 6 months. Jay, do you think Hugh Hefner was one of these early versions of Jeffstein McEffrey? Yes. In other words, I don't think that's even really in question. How far this is, we don't exactly know, but there's a lot of, there are some confirmed ties that Hugh had to the CIA, and I think there are confirmed, allegedly confirmed reports that the Playboy Mansion was wired with surveillance camera devices, much the same way that pretty much every one of Epstein's properties was wired. And in fact, in one of the interviews, Jizlane said years ago that they were wired to record also for, how did she phrased it something like, to protect ourselves. I think she might have even used the word blackmail. It's in the Whitney Webb book. She basically admitted that, yeah, all the properties are wired to record everything, including to protect ourselves. She wasn't just talking about security cameras. She was talking about blackmail. Gary G, $5. Sleight of hand, magician stuff. A man called Intrepid, trained at Camp X. Yeah, you're talking about William Stevenson. Man called Intrepid. Yes, Camp X. Yeah, I know all about that. First person Q since $2. Jay and Kerp. That's a win. Thank you. Appreciate that, guys. Thank you for the generosity there with the super chats. Elias became a member for 2 months. Kerp is a Jacobian Kang. He's got a lot of knowledge. It's almost like a performance art. It was wild. Hunter Barler, $5. Jay, you should ask Kurt about war mode. Well, Kurt had to go, so I missed asking him that. I think you're talking about this podcast. Guy since $5. Does anyone actually believe Stephen Hawking was real? Again, I'm going to withhold my Stephen Hawking jokes for actual stand-up, if I ever actually do some stand-up. But guys, remember, head over to chalk.com, CHOQ.com. Use the promo code JAY40 to get 40% off all the great products. You can subscribe to Kurt's channel in the show description. You can also follow him on X. I'll put his X stuff in there. I was taking a break from X because of my shadow ban, because I don't know what the heck's going on. It seems like it's lightened up a little bit, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to give it another day or two, and we'll figure out what's going on with the shadow ban. Kurt's text messages are like this live stream. It's like a damn paper. It's like a student tripping acid writing a term paper with footnotes and everything. So it's crazy. What did y'all think about this discussion? I don't even know where I'm at. I'm starting to question. Maybe that's Kurt's approach is maybe to just firebomb, machine gun, and at the end of it, you're questioning reality itself. It's a metaphysics. It's You're questioning everything. I don't know where I'm at now. What year is this? Dude was like, I'm hypnotizing you, and it's the 80s. Let's roll with it. Maybe we go back to a healthier time if it was the 80s. But hot damn, that was crazy. Where am I? Guys, thank you so much. I feel like we'll see what's going on. I don't even know. I might live stream later. I might not. We'll see what's going on. See if Jamie's got plans tonight. She might have had choir practice, and if she does, I'll do a live stream. If not, I'll probably go hang out with her and try to talk myself down from the ledge that was Kurt Metzger, because I don't know what's real anymore. He's like if CERN took acid. That's what Kurt is. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much. Everybody to the limit. We had 2,000 live. That was pretty wild. We got up to 2K live. Thank you if people dumped. If shout out to Crucible or whoever. If somebody pooped their audience into my audience, thank you for the dump. Appreciate it. Beloved dumps. I'm still just kind of sitting here trying to figure out where I am. What's going on? It was fun. Andrew Lapiznes for $2 says, I said DARPA NE tech in your cell phones. Bro doesn't want to say DARPA N3 tech. I don't even know what that is, dude. You're proposing insane conspiracy theories that I don't want to talk about. Things I have no idea what you're even talking about. Oh my gosh, what the heck? Where are we at? I feel like Fat Earth, you know what I mean? If Fat Earth would be like, let's not go back to the 80s, let's go back to the 90s. Fat Earth, we got a lot of Jinkos, we got a lot of Juggalos, a healthier time. Ace Brazzi, go live later. Us diorites need more. If I can talk myself back down into reality, out of the ether, I feel like Kurt was astral projecting into my mind and my subconscious to troll me. He was trolling my soul, troll soul. Dude, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Too many freaking weirdos over here. When somebody says like really wild stuff and then they think that I'm part of the conspiracy, I like to immediately block them because then it confirms their paranoia. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Hit like, share, all of that. Give me some comments below. Be sure and do all the algorithmic things. Massage and love the algorithm like you should. I still got to get Kurt out of my soul. He soul trolled me in the astral realm. So I've seen some clips of Kurt on Joe Rogan. I haven't watched like a full show. Maybe I should go check out some of that. I mean, I was just thinking like, and I've seen Kurt on Jimmy Dore, and I've seen Kurt live, and it was like a really fun sort of live riff. Ace Brazzi, $10. This Andrew dude is wigging out. Add a new membership tier and call it Diorite. It just feeds into people thinking it's a cult, which is annoying. So I don't know about Diorite, but tap the mic more. If I move my hand, I hit the mic. Why don't you just quit bitching, dude? what is a moonchild? It's the Crowley novel, the idea that you can sort of create these incubus, succubus babies that you could give birth to, like spirit children, demon, goblin offspring, basically. Dianetics, exactly. Let's go full L. Ron Hubbard. It was funny because I wrote out a bunch of questions, and there was like not really any point in writing out questions. just basically turned the podcast on and let him go. So, which is fine with me. Quit your bitching. All right, that's enough for today. Thank you guys so much. This was a wild one. Everybody hit like and share, and I will see you perhaps later today or perhaps tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see. Look for the... okay, here we got an alternate profile. DARPA N3. We all know who you are. Yep, you got me. Exposed, dude. Exposed. Okay, I'm back to reality now. I finally have regained my senses after Kurt's MK Ultra programming of me this whole episode. I'm back to reality now. It's normal Jay. Don't worry. Thank you guys so much. Everybody have a good night.